Hey, we want to say shout out to our sponsors, Watchman Cigars, Red Hill Brewing, Crave Bath and Body, and Level Up Logo. Without you guys, this episode would not be possible. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's our take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, while you, the listener, are invited to come up on the front porch, grab a beverage, and set a spell. We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. But before we begin, let me introduce you to our starting lineup. Checking his black level tank and where in the tornado alley warning signs is Magic Man. What up, Magic Man?
Boy, you had a hard time with that, didn't you?
Boy, it's been a while.
Yeah, nah, black tanks are good, and we're outside of Tornado Alley, so we're good. We're in good shape.
Perfect.
Hey, everybody.
And we got Aaron.
Hello.
And producer Brian.
Hey.
And, of course, I'll be your illustrious host, Biggin. And how about you? We've got a great show lined up, as I said before. This week, we continue our series in the pursuit of racial understanding. We have Tim Emery. He's a criminal defense attorney, defender of social justice in the justice system, and he's a volunteer Little League coach. So, I mean, how can you not like the guy? He volunteers as a Little League coach. So we're excited to have him coming on. He's got a great story, how he has seen race just overwhelm the justice system and how disproportionate it is. So he's going to talk to us about that tonight. Aaron, where can our people find us on the socials?
You can find us on Instagram, Twitter. We are on Facebook and YouTube. We are Southern Fried Philosophy. You can find our website at sfpradio.com, and all of our socials are on there. And again, you can leave us a voicemail.
I'll tell you what, that voice just makes me happy. It just sounds so good. You've got a voice for radio, no doubt. Hey, last week we had Dr. Lucretia Berry, and if you're interested in it, her husband is doing an event on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8:30 Central, so that's 8 to 9:30 Eastern, starting the 17th of May, and just going through the book, What Lies Between Us. It'll be on YouTube. If you'd like to join, that information will be on our show notes. So they passed that information along to us after the show last week, and it'll be great stuff. So if you want to sign up, go to the link on our show notes, and you can sign up there. We want to say shout out to our listeners from Nebraska. Magic Man, tell us some stories and some interesting facts about Nebraska.
All right. First of all, it is the birthplace of Kool-Aid.
Wait, what?
It is the birthplace of Kool-Aid. In 1927, the ever-popular juice drink Kool-Aid was invented by Edwin Perkins in Hastings, Nebraska. Perkins transformed his soft drink syrup, Fruit Smack, into the famous Kool-Aid powder, making for an easier shipping process.
Producer Brian, you okay there, buddy?
Something tickled Brian. Producer Brian.
Sorry. This is a side note. So Fruit Smack made me think, did you see the tweet from Elon Musk saying he was going to buy Coke and put cocaine back in it?
Yes.
So it was joking. It was a joke, but Fruit Smack, it was the 20s. Anyway, I digress. Carry on.
So you were thinking it was fruit with cocaine in it.
It was Fruit Smack. I was supposed to say like a sugary.
Nice.
By the way, that's genius. I'm going to patent that. Nobody take it. I am doing that one.
All right. Factoid number 2. It's the home of Carhenge. Carhenge is a replica of the historic English Stonehenge. It is located just north of Alliance, Nebraska, and is made up of 38 old automobiles that have been arranged in the same proportions and shape as the original Stonehenge.
Huh.
So,
does it align with the sun on the solstice?
I don't know, but Laura, we got to go check out Carhenge.
I thought Stonehenge only had like 5 stones on it, though. It's 38.
What, Stonehenge?
No, it's more than
Yeah.
that.
No, Stonehenge actually, I've been to Stonehenge. I went on a trip to England when I was a senior in high school, and it's awesome. It's huge, way more than 5 stones, way more.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
How about that?
It's cool.
At least 6. Yeah.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
Right.
It is Warren Buffett's home. Omaha, Nebraska is home to the most famous billionaire in the world, Warren Buffett. Buffett is also known as Wizard of Omaha or Oracle of Omaha, and still lives humbly in the city of his lifelong home.
I got confused with Warren Buffett with Jimmy Buffett. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's I don't think Warren Buffett would take you to Margaritaville. So
it's like that was a jump there, Jimmy Buffett.
Maybe.
Yeah, as long as he's buying, right?
You never know.
Yeah. Well, how about a silly or funny law here? In the late 1800s, a law created in Lehi, Nebraska, forbid merchants from selling donut holes. One lawmaker claimed donut holes were a waste and believed that by selling the middle of the donut, bakers were trying to make an undue profit. Thankfully, the law was repealed in the late 1990s. But these tasty round treats are still hard to come by in the town of Lehi.
Did you say the 1900s or the you said
in the late 1800s? Right? Yeah, late 1800s is when they came out with the law, and it was on the books until the 1990s.
The 90s.
So about 100 years. Yeah.
Man, you talk about justice going slow to change the law on that one.
Well, I mean, look what we're talking about, but hey, you know.
but let's also, like, what politician said, okay, here's my platform. We're going to legalize donut holes. Actually, that's also genius.
I'd vote for that guy.
Fruit smack around.
I'd vote for him.
Yeah. Get your
What's
donut
the
holes
enforcement
with your
look like?
Can't be deprived of donut holes.
So you saying the police roll into the donut shop and they see the holes next to the regular donuts? Are they like rolling it? Like, are they taking them in? What's the situation there? Is it a fine? I need more information.
There's like a back room with
I bet you the enforcement
holes.
I bet you the enforcement was pretty well done considering donut shop.
Well,
okay. I see what you did there.
Okay. Finally, the name Nebraska originated with the Oto Indians. The word Nebraska means flat water and refers to the Platte River that flows throughout the state.
Well, how about it?
And there are your 5 interesting facts of Nebraska.
You know, if nothing else, this show is educational. So our guest is actually from Nebraska. So shout out to Tim coming on the show. All right, guys, I'm going to ask you, like I ask you every week, how you be doing? Brought to you by Crave Bath & Body. If you need some Crave Bath & Body supplies, Magic Man will hook you up and give you a free packet of Buc-ee's Beaver Nuggets. This week only.
Hey, maybe we'll have to do that. Man, that means we'll have to go buy a Buc-ee somewhere. Get some.
Just get some frozen chicken tenders or something. No one's going to know the difference by the time it comes in the mail.
That's gross. Yeah, Magic Man, how you been doing?
Oh, be doing good. Glad it's of course, but everybody doesn't know this already. We record this on Thursday, so we're getting to the end of the week. Good to have the weekend coming up. Nothing really too exciting going on. We're in the Brunswick, Georgia area this last week and this week. I think the most interesting things that we've had is the water at this campground smells like rotten eggs and chemicals, and the water pressure sucks. And the ground started caving in the driveway in front of our RV, but they fixed it really quick too. So kudos to the campground. But yeah,
I said this has happened
before. Probably, but yeah, this is it's just part of the RV lifestyle. You have weird things happen. So, but yeah, nothing really interesting going on. Just working and visiting family and enjoying it. So
there you go. Aaron, how you been doing?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back this week.
Yeah.
Missed you guys. It was a great show last week. It's really good.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah. It's good.
Nice. Good.
Loved it.
Producer Brian, how you doing?
Well, I'm finally recovering from the shock of losing the blue collar chili cook-off on Saturday. So
yeah, you got to tell us about what's going on here.
I don't know what's going on there. But I try. So despite how I may seem on the show sometimes, I'm not a super cocky person in general. Like I'm confident in my ability, but I'm not a real. I don't know. I kind of stay on the radar. I'm an introvert. But I made what I thought was some pretty darn good chili. Maybe some of the best.
Like what you made?
Yeah, it was better than what I made for the church back in the fall, I think.
I don't. It should have won then.
Right. It's a little spicier, which I think's fine for most people. This was a bigger. Well, I don't know if it's bigger or not. So here's the story. There was money on the line to pay to participate. There's a lot of people there. It was great. There was 12 chilies. Okay. There were four prizes though. There was a first place, first loser, second loser in Mojo style. And then there was a best, or a fan favorite.
Okay.
So, I'm just questioning at this point, so I'll get that in a minute. So I show up, get there, and people are walking by. People next to me are smelling my chili and going oh, and then it's one of those where they'll eat it, and then a minute later, someone comes by and goes, "They said I had to try your." People were coming by. There was buzz, right?
Right.
Things were happening. People were telling me it was good. The people around me I was competing with were shocked as well. Let's put it that way. I didn't win it, so that says something, right? Or win anything. I thought, again, there's 12. There's 4 prizes. That's
right.
Math. 25% chance. 1 in 4, right?
Yeah.
And it's I'd say my chili is like Texas style, which may be the problem because it's a lot of salsa and tomatoes, and I smoke a whole brisket and put the flat in the chili, right? There's 5 pounds of brisket in this chili. And it's it just melts in your mouth. It's really good.
It is really good.
Yeah, I don't know. So I tried the one. I didn't get a chance to really walk around and taste them all. So but I did make a point to go to the winner to try it. And the way they were serving it was, it was a presentation. I think might have been some points there I didn't know about. But this one had a little bit. They put cilantro and a little cheese, and the cheese was 2 kinds of cheese and sour. It was definitely a presented thing. And it was just somebody's grandma too, so maybe that was the problem. I tried it; it was good. Yeah. But I don't remember how it tastes. I remember how my chili tastes.
Right.
I was legitimately shocked.
Yeah.
I was pulling a Kanye and just ready to walk up on stage. And
I'm gonna let you finish, but
right, just kind of get in line. Here it is. Right. Nothing. I don't know.
Well, and it was a red chili, right?
Red, yeah.
So you had, like you said, the tomato sauce and whatnot. The only explanation I have for this one, which is probably the simplest, right? There's a rule, usually the simplest explanation is the real explanation. Clearly, the other people were bought off. The judges were bought off. Oh. There's no doubt about it.
I think so.
Absolutely.
No, absolutely. Yeah, because you drop by said chili, and I'm not a chili guy. Whatever. And you dropped some by, and I heated it up, and I told you, I can't stop eating this chili.
Yeah.
It was the most delicious one I've had. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah. If it's even close to the one you made for our church one,
yeah, I
got one bowl of it, and I was pissed. I was literally so mad. Because they were making us freaking wait out there, and we couldn't just go in.
You had to get a tiny little
And I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was literally so mad. I went in there. Oh, it was gone.
Yeah.
It was
I did
gone.
make twice as much for this event. So, and JT got the scraps out of the bottom of the bowl, basically, in his to-go container.
I'll take that.
It was incredible. So
my explanation, so the voting, they give you a little slip of paper, like a little ticket, like a raffle ticket thing to write on. I was number 8. I didn't see what the numbers, but I'm assuming the winner was number 3, and there was some like reading problems happening here. Like the 8s were the pen ran out of ink or something.
That could have been it.
I'm convinced people just don't understand what good food is.
But there's that.
And it could have been like a popularity contest as well. That could have been going into it.
Well,
right.
No,
I was
no
really
one
going to
did
say
see
that.
it.
They rolled up with like an entourage.
Blind judge.
Oh.
So they came and picked up your chili and sat it. Like the judges didn't walk around and talk to people. They're in their little secluded little enclave, and someone brings them
paid off
a couple little cups. So, it was a good event. It was for charity. I was upset I was shocked. I wasn't upset, was the wrong word, but I was just completely blown away. I thought I was going to have a couple $100 in my pocket. So,
as you should.
Yeah. I would have paid you a couple $100 just for that sample. I would have paid that.
Well, we can work that out still.
Yeah, we can. We'll
Brian Venmo is Brian.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I can do that.
We'll have that in the show notes for you if you'd like to donate to the cause.
Hey, maybe we ought to have Brian make some while I'm in town.
Yeah, we can sell tickets for that.
We can sell tickets to watch Magic Man eat.
Yeah, like spicy food. I got the brisket on sale. It was a 12-pound brisket. I got it for like $55. So I made an investment. That's right.
Yeah.
And
the gas to get there.
Yeah. It ain't cheap.
Well, and I asked Brandon after it was all over. I was like, "Bro, what happened?" He goes, I have no clue. Like yours by far was his favorite.
Yeah, but
I don't know what happened. Well, the Southern phrase of the week, what's happening with me?
Yeah.
I got body training this week, so I'm taking tomorrow off. So we will have pee and poop all over our house for this week. So that'll be great.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm looking forward
talking
to that.
about small batch, right?
And no, me.
Okay.
I'm going to learn finally.
You so you can teach her. I get it.
Right. I've got to learn first, and then I will teach her.
Are you going to teach her how to use a bidet?
I've thought about using the bidet. One, the power of the bidet would probably launch her into the wall. So probably going to say no to that. And she's got to learn, because there's, we're silly Americans that don't have the bidet, which we all should have the bidet by now. Like, what's wrong with us, America? Can we also not got to learn the metric system? Like, come on now, let's do that. So I'm going to revert to having to use toilet paper with her. So just so she can learn, she's got to learn how to do that.
Life skills.
Southern phrase of the week is hankering. So just if you have a hankering for some chili, maybe producer Brian can make you some. But we say that in the South if you're really jonesing something. This week I was hankering Twix and watermelon Jolly Ranchers. I'm probably pregnant at this point based on that. So you ever get those
start
hankerings?
mixing them together?
What was the last hankering you guys have had?
I got a hankering for this beer right here.
Oh my gosh. Sunday, I wanted some brownies so bad. I saw this TikTok and this girl was making brownies and I was like, I gotta have brownies. So I made Jack go to the store and he got brownie mix.
Oh no, Aaron, you didn't.
It was Ghirardelli. Thank you. It was very good. It's elite. And every baker in the comments was like, Ghirardelli's elite. Every one of them was like, we make from the box.
Everybody ain't got time to go mill their own flour and go cut down their own cocoa plant.
So good. I'm gonna come over there with it and you're gonna taste it and you're gonna be like, wow, it's really good. And I put walnuts in it or pecans or whatever.
You know this show just got Southern when she said pecans. I mean, that's it right there. No, you gotta do it from scratch. It's so easy. Easy to do from scratch.
Box.
You're being ridiculous.
Eggs, oil, done versus
It's so good.
You just dump it. And it's good enough. It's good enough.
See, that's the problem.
It's good enough.
And I'm a very
This isn't pasta, JT.
I'm very well versed on good enough. My entire life is based on just good enough.
It's not.
But once you've had my brownies, you never go back. They're the most amazing brownies ever. So
all right, make them.
I will bring the heat, and you'll say I will never go box again ever.
So next time you have a hankering, you need to call Biggin and say, "Hey, make me some brownies."
Absolutely. All right. my dad, his birthday present, his Father's Day present, his Christmas present are my brownies. He's just like, just make the brownies, please. After surgery, brownies. Like, that's all he wants. Huh. So I'm going to make him brownies, and he's going to turn into Wilford Brimley. So there's that.
Diabetes.
What was the last hankering you had, Producer Brian?
That's a great question. I'm currently hankering some ribs really badly, and I don't know when I'm going to have time to do it. So I was thinking about Fruit Loops the other day, and that's not going to happen either. I think about food all the time. I just don't ever get a chance to do it, or end up having I want nachos real bad, but I make a ham sandwich instead. So
makes sense. So we had a debate last week, Aaron. You said you heard the show, but just in case maybe other listeners didn't, the debate was, in a bowl, which do you put in first, the milk or the cereal?
The cereal.
Okay. She's good people.
Yeah, I've asked multiple people, which do you put in first, the milk or the cereal? It was a TikTok thing, and all the answers that were on TikTok were put the milk in. I've yet to find anybody except my wife who puts the milk in first. So it's not a good thing. I think this marriage is.
You got to know how much you got to cover it up. What's your ratio? Are you doing more milk, more cereal? What are the vibes?
I think Alan and Chris are on the comment section. I need to know which one you guys do first, milk or cereal. I think it's a hands down winner, the cereal, because again, like Producer Ryan said before the show, you put the milk in and then the cereal just floats on top, which might make sense if you don't like soggy cereal. But what's the fun of that? You got to eat it fast.
But then you get the spoon in there and it goes everywhere, or you can't add more milk. Right? Because then it's going to spill out more. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Unless you're only putting unless you're reading the box and doing the serving size, which who does that? Right? It's a third a cup of Cheerios. Right? Who eats that? Right? I grew up and my grandparents had mixing bowls of cereal. They both eat half a box in the morning. That's what I was raised on. Right. You ain't pouring half a gallon of milk in your bowl and then the whole box of cereal on top of it. Come on.
And a big wooden spoon to eat it with?
Yeah. Yeah. Get the soup ladle.
Soup ladle. Goodness. Yeah, no, I think this is a pointless debate at this point. I think everybody I know has said cereal. I even asked around at church the other day, and everybody said cereal. So I think it's silliness. Well, speaking of food, let me pull this up here. Minor league baseball season is back. Are you guys excited about that? Yay, minor league baseball. Aaron, have you been to the Kannapolis?
Everybody's like, seriously.
Have you been to the new the Cannonballers in Kannapolis?
I've seen it. I haven't been inside the stadium.
Oh man,
but I've been
that
over
place is fantastic.
Yeah, it looks nice.
The cool thing is the concession stands are open even when there's no games. You could just during lunch, you could just go in the concession stand. You could sit in the seats, eat your food, walk out. You could walk around.
Is that? I've been to a baseball game 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Wow.
It was in Kannapolis, but is that the new name? The Cannonballers?
The
Cannonballers.
Cannonballers
That's probably
is
at the old stadium.
No, it was new.
Yeah.
It was a new stadium, I think. It looked
Really?
new. It was nice. Maybe
Yeah,
not.
well, they built one and then they tore it down. They built another one, I think.
Oh,
Yeah, there was one that
So-
was away from downtown Kannapolis, and then they did that one until a couple years ago, and then they changed the name of the team and moved it to downtown Kannapolis. So it's part of that whole.
this was out in the sticks. I feel
revamped
like it was off.
downtown.
It was
Oh,
right
yeah.
off 85 somewhere. I don't know if it
Yeah,
was.
that's the old stadium. Mhm.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
So
No,
the
this
new
is
one
a
is,
whole new-
is there in
The
downtown
snow cones were
Kannapolis.
still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did have hand dipped corn dogs for a while. They took that off the menu. But they've got like a splash pad, this giant place that kids can run around and jump on the swing set and all this kind of stuff. It's
Do they
fantastic
still
spot.
throw hard objects from helicopters at children?
Not that I
Oh,
know
wow.
of.
Okay,
What happened?
it was hard. They were throwing candy out of a helicopter or something.
Oh, wow.
Like
Yeah, they
really
thought that
close to the
through.
ground. Yeah, super safe.
They were
Well-
like, physics, never heard of it. Never.
Hey, at least it wasn't like that
It's
WKRP
the
episode where they were
velocity of
dropping
the
turkeys.
CD goes down at this angle.
As God's my witness, I swear I thought turkeys could fly. Is the best line in all of TV that has ever been uttered. Oh, WKRP in Cincinnati. If you don't know that, go Google it. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's right.
So the minor league baseball is back, but now it seems as if there's been an upgrade to the food at these ballparks. 31 minor league parks across the Southeast are putting promotional emphasis on fireworks, cheap beer, and novelties, but there are others that are looking at their food. So here's a couple of them I'll share with you. So the Mississippi Braves are putting crawfish in their queso dip. The Durham Bulls are putting their sweet potato tots with barbecue and nacho cheese. In Jacksonville, where the mascot's name is Scampy, the Jumbo Shrimp are rolling out spicy shrimp tacos for 2022. So far, how are we feeling about those?
I'm just glad Durham's not sticking with part of their mascot anatomy for the, entrees there. We had the crawfish down in Mississippi, Durham. What's a bowl? I mean, the first thing I think about is like
Oh, chitlin? Is it chitlins?
oysters or something. But
Oh, yeah, yeah.
carry on.
So the Columbia, South Carolina Fireflies, their tacos are filled with pork belly and Korean barbecue sauce. The newly introduced items include sushi at Kannapolis Cannonballers and tacos from Charlotte's Lopita's Carniceria, I don't know, and tortilla are available at the Knights games. I butchered that like a champ. I'm just trying here. Reading is hard. Several ballparks are taking the classy route. The Gwinnett, Georgia Stripers are opening a cocktail lounge and featuring bourbon lemonade. The Bowling Green Hot Rods in Kentucky are offering brunch, meaning eggs Benedict, sausage biscuits, cinnamon rolls on Sunday. I mean, how awesome is that?
That sounds great.
Yeah. The Charleston River Dogs are doing a man salad, and these are traditional ballpark standards, but they are ungodly huge. This is topped with a pretzel, 3 hot dogs, and beer cheese. So there's that one. The Birmingham Barons come up with a dump truck, which is a foot-long corn dog garnished with French fries, nacho cheese, and sloppy Joe beef.
All right. It's like a chili dog, basically.
Yeah. In Kinston, North Carolina, the Down East Wood Ducks are selling the double play. It's a foot-long hot dog with 2 layers of nacho cheese and barbecue from King's Barbecue and jalapeno peppers.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, which is an awesome name, by the way, have doubled down their commitment representing Alabama by switching hot dogs to the Konica sausage. Have you guys had the Konica sausage?
No.
Y'all,
I think that's the one you get from the smoke, whatever the meat market over there,
smoke
right?
pit.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
It's good stuff.
Yep, it's awesome. So those are some minor league ballpark foods that are going to be out this year. So that'll be great.
Well, this makes me want to go to a minor league baseball game because
Right.
I typically don't go for the baseball. So.
Yeah,
I don't like baseball, but
I'm going to need you to stall for a minute because yet again the guest can't find the link.
Oh, he's in the room.
Oh, is he?
He just got here, yeah, or he wasn't here.
Oh. It's got to be me because I'm doing this wrong.
Yeah, I think I know what you're doing wrong. We could talk about it later, but
this is the second week people can't find the link. I thought I was doing.
Yeah, he's in here. We just got to. We'll get him added in a second when you're ready.
All right. It's definitely an issue. So, just Aaron, can you give our listeners a breakdown of the greatest court case besides OJ that's happening? Johnny Depp is having a trial. Tell us what's going on with Johnny Depp, because evidently it's making Twitter history and is supposed to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So I'm not an expert. I want to preface that.
None of us
so
are.
This is just what I've gathered from watching in the internet. Okay. So no one come for me.
This is how we do all of our show.
So yeah, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. She is an actress. They were married. I believe from like 2018 to 2019, like not long at all. And he is suing her for defamation. So basically he's trying to prove that she kind of like defamed him enough that like stopped him from getting opportunities to act or to be in certain projects. He got booted from the there was like a series, kind of an extension of Harry Potter, the J.K. Rowling
Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts, yes.
And Pirates.
He was in those and he got like, I guess, fired or whatever from those. And then there was like going to be another Pirates of the Caribbean or something. So he's not doing that, which is like, who needs that? No one.
Right.
But yeah, so he is trying to prove that she defamed him because she wrote an op-ed piece about him and their relationship. So after that it was like he lost all these opportunities according to him. And so now they're in court in, I believe, Virginia, because that is where she wrote the piece and published it. So yeah, it's getting kind of crazy. I have a lot of thoughts. I don't know where you want me to start. That's like the breakdown. But
what's making it so TikTok? People are going crazy on TikTok about it.
I think first of all, the fact that it's like being broadcast is kind of crazy.
Right?
I think. I don't know. It's like it's a lot. This is a lot of dirty laundry.
Is it on the Home Shopping Network? Is that where it's? I think it was on HLN or something. Isn't that Home Shopping? Isn't that where they're showing this?
I don't know. I saw it on Hulu. I don't even know.
Oh, okay.
I don't even have.
I think it's is it HLN, like a Home Living or something like that? Like what? It's not a real channel.
Headline News.
Probably.
Headline News. Oh, I thought it was Home Shopping.
News.
Oh, why is this Headline News? Well, there's like wars being fought in other countries.
All of a sudden, though, people are like hashtagging Save Johnny and all this stuff, and she's. But the thing is like neither one of them are good people.
Yeah,
in my opinion, they're just both very toxic and not good for each other. And have done horrible things. So it's like, but that's not what they're on trial for. They're on trial so that he can prove she defamed him, which does not mean, is he good or bad?
Right.
Or is she? But that's where people are taking it. So, people just choosing sides basically his side,
Right.
but it's a little messier than that. I feel like so. It's a little more nuanced than that, but
Yeah. Well, maybe we
It's
bring
pretty
in
crazy.
somebody that actually knows what they're talking about.
We need to
with
get a
law.
real lawyer on this show.
If we had a
That's what we
real
need, is a
lawyer,
real lawyer.
man,
not
we
her
could-
lawyer because he's horrible.
Oh,
He literally told himself objection. He literally
he
told
objected to his
himself.
own question.
Checked
He
himself.
said
Wow.
objection, and then he was like, "Wait, never mind." It was his own question. His own question. So definitely not that one.
I did see that, and then
Not good.
he said, "Where did she get her lawyers from? Wish." Which is
Yeah.
great. Oh
Went on
goodness.
Shein.
Yeah. Brought to you by the Home Shopping Network.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and bring in our feature presentation. If I could talk.
Right.
And now, our feature presentation.
He just hopped out and hopped back in, so hopefully we get him back here in a second. We just
All
lost
right.
him, I think.
He was probably like, "I'm done with the show."
He's here and then back out, so let's go back here.
All right.
And then we'll make him call back in. How's that?
All right.
I think it seems like it's like the people's court more than like
It
it's
always
happening,
is.
right? Here we go.
Yeah. I don't know. I do like George Wapner. It was Judge Wapner. I enjoyed him.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is. Hey, Mr. Emery, how are you doing today? He looks confused.
Oh, it's frozen.
Uh-oh.
He's muted. We'll make this work eventually.
One of these days. Live radio, kids. We'll say that's probably not the face you want to be frozen on. Well,
I'll be the lawyer for tonight.
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
All right.
I've watched Legally Blonde, so I'm basically, I got it. I've got it.
Yeah, I've watched dozens of hours of Law and Order, so I
That
feel
too.
like it can't be that hard. But that's,
Right.
again, that's based on watching Law and Order or Legally Blonde or
I can,
Or what
I can say objection
right to your own question.
to our own question.
Hey, I have to watch.
Right.
I have to watch Matlock whenever I go visit my parents.
Oh man, I love Matlock. Dude, you should count your lucky stars you get to watch Matlock. I love that show. That's a great one. Okay. Well, live TV, kids.
Yeah, we could talk with the chat here a minute while we get this. I might have to actually edit the show this week.
Well, I was recording, so that's good.
Wow.
So Alan was talking about hot ones in the
Mhm.
chat earlier. Have you guys seen that at all?
Yeah.
I haven't. No.
Everybody, I
Oh,
keep telling
are you muted?
everyone
No, I got
to do
loud
it.
audio, Aaron.
What?
the heck? Magic Man, are you still there?
I'm
going
here.
on?
Maybe I lost my audio. That's not good.
I'm hearing an echo
I
though.
hear him, but there's this echo.
Oh,
We're professionals, people.
Don't
It's
do this
all
at
going
home.
according to plan.
oh, I know what's going on. Wait, I can see you guys talking to me. That's really weird. I just can't hear anything.
Yep, you're going to be editing, Brian.
Oh, there we go.
But need to work on this one.
There we go. I fat fingered a button, and then that's what it was. Anyway, what do we got to say about hot ones?
So I don't know what is Hot Ones.
It's a show where they have the guy interviews celebrities and they have to eat really, really, really spicy
Ooh.
wings. Like they go in progression from like the least spicy to the most.
Yeah.
And they have this one. What is it? The one with the has like a bomb on it or something.
Dab. The last dab, right? The bomb.
Not the last.
Oh,
It's like
oh
the,
yeah. There's
it's
one
like
with an
the third
atomic.
to last.
Yeah,
It's like the worst one. It's like super bitter, and like every time they get to that one, they just like completely fall apart.
I think yes, near the end where it just takes a jump and they start to really sweat.
Yeah,
It's hilarious. I think it's hilarious.
it's so good.
Watching people suffer on YouTube.
Have you watched the one with Gordon Ramsay? Yeah, he was on twice.
Yeah,
it was so good.
yeah. Some of them are
Okay, but
can really
like if you want to see like the craziest one, like where literally they do not flinch, I'm talking not one bit, is the singer Lord.
Yeah.
She was on there. Holy cow. She literally was like, it didn't even phase her. She was like, oh, it's kind of spicy.
What?
Like nothing.
And spice is not something they do in England.
No, she's from New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
She's from New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh, that's even funny. There's another channel. It's called the Try channel. It's not for kids, folks, but it's like Irish people try this American thing, and sometimes it's something spicy or some like alcoholic product that's super intense. Or they were like in Orlando eating American fast food, and their minds were being blown. They had Krispy Kreme for the first time, like that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh,
it's fun to watch because they're all Irish and have no filter and.
They have Krispy Kreme in London.
They did. Well, this was when they first got it, I think, over there. Maybe it's a different one, but it's highly entertaining.
That's fine.
Producer Brian, we don't have a call-in number, right?
Oh. Let me think. I would have to test that. I don't know.
And I'm gonna tell him to give it another try.
Is he using a computer? He's on his phone, right? Instead of a computer.
He said,
call in number. Can I do that?
He said he was on his laptop, I think.
He was on, it looked like it was the angle was like a portrait, like phone mode, but do I have what I need for that?
Oh, okay, hold on. He's calling. Hold on, I got it. Let me call him.
Yeah, Alan mentioned Tom Holland on the Hot One show. He was pretty funny.
That one was good.
He fell apart pretty good, I think.
He did. He did. He's funny. I like him.
I think I watched what's her name? Oh, here we go. All right.
How to get a refill.
Okay, I see him. Let's try this again. Okay, screen's frozen. Do we have any audio? Let's take a look. We can try the phone thing maybe in a second. Is this gonna work? Do I have that channel set up? I think I do.
Hey, Brian, can you see the guest chat?
The guest chat. Well, that's a great question. I should be able to. I see interview chat. I don't see guest chat.
Oh,
hey, give him my phone number. We'll try this.
No, okay. I can give you his phone number. Let me do that.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, my producer's going to give you a call.
Okay, thank you.
All right, yep.
Let's see if this works.
All right, I sent it to you. He's trying Chrome, and looks like everything.
We're just going to try it this way and see what we get.
All right. Yeah, you can bet on some editing hours. Should be just a good, easy cut, though.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
All right, let's see if I can get this volume up. All right, I've got you on my side. Can you guys hear him on the show on your side?
I hear him.
Tim, can you talk?
Yeah. Test 1, 2. Can you hear me? This is Tim Emery.
Yeah. Yeah,
All
I can hear you. I think that's good enough for production, right?
Yeah, we can work with that. Let me make sure I'm recording this audio.
Tim, we're gonna have you go on just audio tonight because the video
Yeah.
isn't working.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. When you're DA, Mecklenburg DA, we'll let you do it from the from the chambers.
Yeah. Come in studio or something, right?
There you go. All right, are we ready to go, Brian?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, so this week we have Mr. Tim Emery again. He is a criminal defense attorney. He is a defender of social justice. He understands the justice system in and out. And as I said before, he's a volunteer Little League baseball coach. So everything's pointing right for Tim. Nothing could be better for him. Tim, thank you for joining. We really appreciate you joining us on the show.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Just to be clear, I'm a former Little League baseball coach. I have hung up my cleats, but I'm still a big baseball, softball fan, and I love youth athletics, but I no longer coach.
Gotcha. Well, hey, we still love it, and as long as you support the kids, that's all we need, right?
That's right.
You're also running for Mecklenburg County District Attorney. Listen, the only thing I know about a DA is what I've seen in Batman and Law and Order. So I don't. Yeah. I know that seems like it's a pretty big job, though. So good luck to you on that.
Yeah. Thank you. That's been a big part of the learning curve and talking to voters is that a lot of people think judges are a big influence, but the elected prosecutor in any jurisdiction is the single greatest lever of power on what I call the criminal punishment system, what many people call the criminal justice system. And they have the ability with prosecutorial discretion to effectuate so much change. It's just that for so many years, the prosecutor has used that prosecutorial discretion to err on the side of being punitive. That it's kind of shocking when a prosecutor is looking to do something less punitive that's more aligned with justice and more aligned with actual what keeps us safe.
Wow. Yeah. That's perfect. Look, just from that, you've got my vote.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Tim, now one of your big strengths and the thing that you're passionate about is racial equality. And the first time that I saw or heard you speak and saw you speak was in a Race Together program, and you went through the process in a scenario of like over policing and what is that, and you went through a scenario of a young man that uh, got pulled over, and the whole process that he had to go through, and how it's unfair. I don't know if you have time, one, if you remember it, or two, if you have time to go through that. But for me, that was really eye opening to hear your statistics and about over policing and why that's a bad thing, and why it's different if a white person gets pulled over versus an African American gets pulled over.
Yeah. Yeah. I could try and run through it and intersperse some data with it as well.
Perfect.
You know, I'm running for Mecklenburg County DA, so essentially Charlotte and a few other towns, but we focus a lot on Charlotte, right? Because it's the biggest city by far in the county. And
Sure.
I love to talk to people about disparities as it relates to traffic stops. So the city of Charlotte is 35% Black. In 2019, I use 2019 data because that's our last non-COVID year. I think 2020, 2021 data is deeply problematic because of a lot of COVID variables. So looking at 2019, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, CMPD, 57% of the people they pulled over in traffic stops were Black motorists. Again, in a city that's 35% Black. Then you look at the next, I show this as a slide when I give a presentation to a community group. Then you look at the next slide, which is of those traffic stops, what percentage or who was searched, who had their person or their vehicle searched. And then it jumps to 81% of the people searched were Black motorists. And then the final slide is use of force. Again, not use of force in general, use of force arising from those traffic stops. 88% was against Black motorists. So you go from 35% to 57 to 81 to 88, and there's the racial disparities in a nutshell that we see coming into the system. So I create this scenario, right? And then I've had cases like this. You have a young Black man who is trying to do well. He's just a normal kid. He's going to college. He's working. But he lives in an over-policed community. So he's driving his brother's car because he doesn't own his own car. And he's driving his brother's car. And since he's in an over-policed community, he gets pulled over for failure to come to a complete stop at a stop sign in a lightly traveled intersection, right? Or I have clients who get pulled over for tag light out. There's a little light that's supposed to illuminate your license plate tag, and they'll pull over Black motorists for that disproportionately. So he gets pulled over for some bogus traffic stop. The purpose isn't traffic enforcement. The purpose is this mistaken belief that every Black male is driving around with guns and drugs in the car. So let's imagine he gets pulled over and he is driving his brother's car. And the officer says, you know, do you mind if I search? Most people don't know that they can say no to a search, right? And so due to various factors, he probably feels scared, intimidated. He consents to a search. It's not his car. He doesn't know what's in it. The officer scours the car, finds a little bit of cocaine in the center console. Maybe his brother uses cocaine occasionally. Maybe his older brother sells the cocaine, but he has no awareness of that cocaine. But nevertheless, if he's the only one in the car, he's going to get charged with possession of cocaine. And then he's going to be taken to jail. And he's going to be, booked and fingerprinted and photographed and all of these things. And if a judge doesn't, or if a magistrate doesn't unsecure his bond, he's going to have to pay money to bond out, right? Yeah, he's going to have to pay money to buy his freedom, even though he's only been accused of the thing, and we have the presumption of innocence. And then as it goes on, and he may be convicted. Maybe they offer him a misdemeanor. But if he has a misdemeanor for, say, drug paraphernalia, the law currently says that you cannot gain federal financial aid if you have a drug conviction. So if he was receiving, say, a Pell Grant that was necessary to help him go to college, and they offer him a misdemeanor and he pleads guilty, now he loses his financial aid. So maybe he can't pay for school. And if he can't pay for school, now he's, a little listless, and he's likely to be pushed into some extreme circumstances or some desperation that he wouldn't otherwise do. It's part of the way that I think our criminal punishment system can push people into worse behavior. There's always going to be a certain segment of our society, of any society, that's prone to do really dangerous, violent, scary things. And me nor anyone else is saying those people deserve a pass. Let them out of jail, give them a cookie, and say good luck, right? I'm not saying that. Right. And people criticize people like me, and they think that, that you're trying to let out these violent. No, I'm saying that, punishment isn't the only method of accountability. I don't even think it's a very good method of accountability. And prison doesn't work. Prison doesn't rehabilitate people. My clients often come out worse out of prison than they go in. And recognizing that young person now, life is on a totally different trajectory, simply because he is being profiled and likely to be stopped for some minor traffic offense. Data shows that white and black people use and abuse illegal drugs at the same rate. Data even suggests that white people actually sell drugs at a slightly higher rate than black or brown folks. But yet that isn't what we see. We look at people who are sent to prison in North Carolina for drug offenses. They're overwhelmingly black people. So we have this disproportionality in terms of enforcement. And if that same young person was white, he would probably participate in some similar or worse conduct. But by virtue of his whiteness and by virtue of the fact of where he lives, never really comes into contact with police. I live in, I've the last few years of my life, I've lived in neighborhoods where, police are definitely an occupying force. But the last few years of my life, I've lived in places where a lot of the people look like me, and police only come to the neighborhood if they're invited. Where many of my clients live, police are a constant occupying force. And that's the two Charlottes that we talk about, right? People talk about the wedge and the crescent, And so in a nutshell, that's kind of like what we're looking at with the ways in which the system conspires against people who are otherwise decent, working people trying to go about life, just trying to live their life. And the system really interferes with that. And it does it in a very racially focused way.
And you even went a bit further and just talked about if he doesn't make bail and has to stay in jail, there's fees attached to that I had no clue of.
Yeah, so some of the worst days. I've been an attorney for over 20 years, and I've been representing people accused of crime for 20 years. And some of the worst days of my career, my life really, are when I have someone that I believe is innocent, that I know is innocent of the crime accused, but I can't get them out of jail because the judge won't reduce their bond or unsecure their bond, and they're too poor to pay their bond. And they plead guilty to crimes that they did not commit just so they can get out. And I think that's just totally, it's so sad. I had a young lady who was accused of a robbery, and she was not party to the robbery at all. She was completely innocent, but I tried to convince the prosecutor of that, what was painfully obvious. I tried to get her out. The judge reduced her bond a little bit. Her family still couldn't make it. And I told her, if we plead not guilty, I swear to you, the DA, when they take a look and prepare this case for trial, they will recognize they don't have a case and they'll dismiss it. But that may be 8 months from now. And she had a plea offer that allowed her to plead guilty to a felony and get placed on probation. And I said, that felony is going to be with you the rest of your life. We talked about collateral consequences, but she was 20 years old and she had a young daughter, and she wanted to be with her daughter. So she pled guilty to a felony of something she's totally innocent of simply because she was too poor to buy her freedom. If her family was more affluent or had more access to things, or if I could have gotten her out of jail, she would have been out of custody. There would have been no pressure to, time pressure to resolve the case. We would have pled not guilty. The DA would have eventually dismissed it. And then I would have been able to prepare, process an expunction for her so that the fact that she was ever charged with the crime would be removed altogether. But that wasn't the circumstance for her. And that's one of the things I talk about in the campaign is prosecutors who argue on Monday to say someone's dangerous, they've been accused of this crime, not convicted of it. We were accusing them of this. Don't let them out. They need to pay all this money to get out. And then on Thursday, I finally get the discovery, that is the evidence the state's claims to have, an initial plea offer. And the plea offer says, if your client admits to doing the bad thing we're accusing him of, we'll give them probation. And that's nonsense, It reveals that keeping someone locked up pretrial is not about public safety. It's not about protection. It's about a coercive method to get guilty pleas, because this system relies on people pleading guilty. It relies on the overwhelming majority of people to plead guilty, and people are far more likely to plead guilty if they're in jail than out of jail, especially if the plea allows them to get out of jail. And it's just, I tell you, they're the absolute. I mean, after that case with that young lady, I went home and I cried, because I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. This is not why I got a law degree. This is not why I went to law school. This is not why I work in public interest law. I felt like I was part of the machine that was convicting an innocent young lady of something that she did not do. And that's why I'm running for district attorney. I'm tired of seeing innocent people plead guilty to crimes. I'm tired of helping guilty clients choose between two unjust options. I had a client who was drug addicted. He was drug addicted, so he had a bad record. He stole a television from his brother. Now, that's not nice. Don't do that. Don't steal, especially not from your family. But because he had so many prior felony convictions, he was what's called habitual felon eligible. And he got sent to prison for 10.5-year minimum prison sentence. In North Carolina, we do not have parole. So he is still serving a 10.5-year minimum prison sentence for stealing a 32-inch television from his brother. I don't care who you are or what you've done or how nice the TV is, to be quite frank. No one should do 10.5 years for a stolen television. That is a cruel and unjust and unfair system. And it seems like it's always people who have a much darker complexion than me that end up on the wrong side of those outrageous outcomes.
So where do we, you're obviously running for DA. So where's the first step in making that change? Because it's going to be quite a run to try to get the racism out of the justice system. So where's the first step? What are we doing?
Oh, it's an overwhelming challenge, because I'll tell you, I crunched the numbers, and in the 5 years that my opponent has been the district attorney, a Black person in Mecklenburg County is 800% more likely to go to prison than a white person. And that disparity is 60% worse than the previous 5 years. When the DA was a white Republican. And so you have to be very intentional about dismantling a system so diseased. You have to be intentional about addressing that. I can't make that 800% disparity down to zero, because that's an all systems approach, right? Because we have to talk about equitable housing opportunities. We have to talk about employment opportunities. We have to talk about educational opportunities. We have to talk about all these factors that push people into risky or criminality. But I think we start with basic things like, I want to do away one of the mass incarceration. My second prong of my platform is to eliminate the mass incarceration policies of the district attorney's office. One of those is that habitual felon law. Those enhancements. I believe the current punishment chart is more than sufficiently punitive to capture people who have worse prior records. So my pledge there is, I would never indict someone as a habitual felon. And that's something that's totally within prosecutorial discretion. Two, I would say, let's look at the first scenario we talked about, the young man. Let's look at pretextual stops. Pretextual stops is just a really fancy word for saying racial profiling or driving while black. And I would be like the prosecutor in actually St. Paul, Minnesota, who has a default position to refuse for prosecution cases that arise out of those pretextual stops. I would reject those cases. I can't force the police department to change their policy. But my hope is that at the time they would see, well, he's not going to pursue these cases. So maybe we need to readdress our approaches to things. So those are some of the things, but be just intentionality with dealing with the root cause of crime. What underlies this activity? Why did this person do this? And let's address that. If it's mental health, let's connect them to mental health resources rather than send them to prison. If it's addiction, let's treat the addiction. And let's also be mindful that the cycle of addiction means that addicts relapse. And they're going to relapse more than once. And they're going to relapse lots of times, more than twice, more than 3 times. And we have to be sensitive to that. Let's address trauma. Let's address the systemic generational trauma that many young people who grow up in over-policed, over-violenced communities experience. Because that's a big part of the puzzle too. And that's where my restorative justice piece comes in. I'm a big supporter of restorative justice practices because those are actually ways that someone can be accountable to a person they've harmed and can have specific action steps to address that harm and to offer restitution. And I don't mean restitution in terms of money necessarily, although that can be part of it, but restitution can take many forms. So that they can sort of be brought back into that community. And I think that will reduce the likelihood that the person will do harm again. That's what I believe our system is the least good at. We don't think about what can we do to reduce the likelihood that this person will do this bad thing again. Our answer for so many years has been prison. But the data shows that prison doesn't accomplish that. Probation, as it's currently situated, doesn't accomplish that. Probation is sort of like this sadistic game of Simon Says, where you take people who don't have a whole lot of resources and you say, here's rules A through W that you have to follow. Oh, you didn't follow rule P and Q, so now you've got a probation violation. Now we're going to send you to prison. That's still a failure. I want my prosecutors to think about prison representing a failure. Failure on the part of the person, failure on the part of the system, failure on the part of everything. Now, that's not to say we don't send people who present a real serious danger to the community to prison. But I'll tell you, less than 12% of the people that Mecklenburg County sends to prison are for homicides or sexual offenses. I'm not talking about that 12%. Yeah. That's the thing. People think that it's all murderers and rapists in prison. That's a drop in the bucket. I'm talking about the 88% that we send to prison for something other than a homicide or a sexual assault. Now, some of those do include some violent things like robberies, and maybe some of those people still do need to be incarcerated. Maybe not for as long as what we're doing, but I also know that we send nearly twice as many people to prison out of Mecklenburg County for property crimes as we do murder and rape combined. And I really don't think prison is the answer for most property crimes. Property crimes, in my experience, are committed by 2 groups: young people, and I think their restorative justice is a real big pathway, and 2, addicts. They're stealing to support their addiction. Let's treat the addiction. Yeah. So
give us an example of a property crime.
Oh yeah, property crime. The classic is break and entering. Someone breaks into someone's home and takes some stuff so that they can sell it and get something of value. A misnomer of that, people are worried, and people have a right to be worried, but people are very worried about like home invasion robberies. Most people that break into people's homes, they don't want the person to be there. They want to do it in the middle of the day when you're not there. Now, I've been the victim of 2 breaking and enterings, and I know that it's a crummy feeling to walk home and your front door's ajar, or to walk home and a cinder block has been thrown through your bedroom window and glass is all over your master bed and you don't know what's missing. That is an empty feeling. I'm not saying that there isn't harm there, but I'm saying that what is the best way to address that harm, and what is the best way to try and reduce the likelihood that that person ever throws a cinder block through a bedroom window again. Property crime could also include, thefts against stores. It can also include things like obtained property by false pretense. I see a lot of people struggling with homelessness who get taken advantage of by people, and they say, hey, here's this check. If you go and cash this check for $1,200, I'll give you half of it, right? And it's like a bum check, right? And so it's always the homeless person that gets busted, because if things start not going right, the person who put them up to it is standing outside and they just get the heck out of Dodge. And then the police come and it's the poor. And I can't tell you how many clients I've had who are down on their luck and they said, I knew it was too good to be true. I knew there was something probably illegal, but this guy was offering me a chance to have $600, Let's go after the people who are doing that. Let's not go after the homeless person who feels like, I got nothing to lose. This is probably going to turn out bad. Let's find the people who are putting the folks up to this. I also have crack addicted clients. I have one in particular, but several drug addicted clients, some with crack, who they steal cases of beer from Quick Trip. Now, they don't steal the beer because they want to drink it. You know what they do with the beer? They take it to a convenience store that knowingly buys stolen alcohol from drug addicted people. Now, that's a violation of ABC law. To buy alcohol, you've got to, as a distributor, you've got to buy it through appropriately licensed, blah, blah, blah. So I had a client and he told me about this, and I went to the prosecutor and I said, you know what? My client is being used by these people. He'll take whatever detective you want out and show him the convenience stores that knowingly buy stolen alcohol from drug addicted, homeless gentlemen and go after them. Crickets back, no response. They, excuse me, they just want to prosecute the easy case. And the easy case is invariably against the person that's least culpable. And the person, locking my drug addicted guy up is not going to cure this problem, because there's plenty of other people who are down on their luck who will be suckered into the lure of, I can go into Quick Trip, grab 2 cases of beer, and then turn it around to the convenience store down the street, and then I can get my drug of choice for the night, and then I worry about tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So sad. So sad.
Yeah. It's really sad that the way, I represent people who are taken advantage of by everybody, right? They're taken advantage of by the more sophisticated criminal, and they're also taken advantage of by the system, who fails to recognize that this person isn't the person we need to criminalize. This isn't the person we need to go after. If we really care about public safety and reducing crime, we need to go after the root cause. And in this case, the root cause are the stores that create the market for this. If there were no stores buying this, my guys would not rip off the Quick Trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we provided, a place for them to go to either A, get off, the drugs or the addiction, what have you, or a safe place where they can get, whatever the food or whatever that they need, they may not need to do that. So look, we're people of faith, all of us on the show, and I'll be the first one to admit the church is doing a horrible job of loving people, and we're doing a horrible job of helping people that need it. And we have these like little blessing boxes, which are great, whatever. But I've seen more people go to those blessing boxes, put all of it in the back of their Camry, and then just haul butt out of there, and they just take it and whatnot. And it's not getting to the people that they need it. The thing that I see just in that, and applicable to what you're saying, is we're just not helping the people that need to be helped. And we're just trying to make ourselves feel good about what we're trying to do at the end of the day, right?
Amen. Yeah, that goes into that whole toxic charity stuff and all of that. When Helping Hurts, that book, and I'm a person of faith too, and I pray a lot, and we've been sort of church hopping and church shopping, and I'm really inspired by what I call like the social gospel. Like, I love preachers and sermons that talk about justice, and that talk about what does the stories of Jesus, what can we extrapolate from the stories of Jesus about how we should act in this time and place? What does Jesus call us to do in this moment? It was really popular when I was an adolescent and like a teen in the 90s, right? Everyone had those WWJD, what would Jesus do, bands on. And I think they were thinking of them in a different sense. But I kind of wish that phrase would have a resurgence, and an honest resurgence, because what would Jesus do if he was dropped into North Carolina and saw the disparities between the haves and the have-nots, saw the ways in which we criminalized poor people and criminalized poverty? What would Jesus say about that? And who would he spend time with? And who would he try and nurture? Because I don't think it would be the people who are making the money. I don't think it would be the people that work in the big buildings. I think it would be the people who are struggling to survive. I think that's where Jesus would spend his time, and he would show love, right? Yeah,
absolutely. We completely agree with the social justice piece at our church, and we've caused a riff on that as well. People, just don't seem to get what you say. What would Jesus do? I think the question is, you don't know what Jesus would do if you don't know what he did. I've seen that bracelet as well, and we don't take the time to actually know the real Jesus, and we just do this lazy Christianity, and in this case, lazy justice, where we just pick the lowest fruit and we just go with that.
Amen. Absolutely. Yeah.
Tim, I appreciate you coming on. Guys, does anybody have any questions, anything that they wanted to ask? I don't see any in the chat from our folks. Anybody else want to say anything? Gonna go with a no on that. You guys still there? Wake up.
Pretty
Still
late.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our popcorn out over here.
Tim, thank you for being on the show, though. We do appreciate it. This is good stuff to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. If anyone, I of course have to plug the website. If anyone wants to connect with the campaign, early voting started today. That's part of the reason I've got held up a little bit today, and it will continue. And primary day is May 17th. But the website is quite simply Tim for DA. My last name is only 4 letters, EMRY, but people love to throw in an extra E or an O. Right. So I just went with just Tim for DA, and it kind of conveys that I'm more of a person of the people anyway. So timforda.com, that's the website if you want to connect. If you're in Mecklenburg County, want to contribute, want to vote, want to help and volunteer, we appreciate all of the above, certainly.
Tim, before I let you go, I'm in Cabarrus County. So how can I vote for you?
Well, if you live in Cabarrus County, unfortunately you can't, but you could vote for me by talking. Surely the wall is not so big that you don't know people that live in Mecklenburg. So I always encourage people, people that live in Mecklenburg, talk to them about it. And I really think that, I really believe that good ideas are infectious. And I know that some people are nervous about people that talk the way I do, but if I get in there, I guarantee you we're going to see some change. We're going to see some really positive change. And I really want to help that germinate and grow to the other counties in North Carolina. We've already got a prosecutor in Durham that's doing some really good things. And I would love to see a coalition of prosecutors who recognize that what does justice look like in this case means a lot different than just how much time can I hang on a person or what's the appropriate punishment. But justice is a higher calling. And so I'd love to see, good ideas in Charlotte can seep over into Cabarrus eventually. But yeah, talk to your friends in Mecklenburg. You can make a political contribution so long as you are not as long as you're a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, anywhere in the country, right? I have supporters in virtually every state. So
Awesome.
Anybody listening can make a contribution to help, because we're in this get out the vote thing here, and it's the last drive. Sure. And we've run a good campaign, but we're trying to beat an incumbent. And so that takes work. So we're just trying to make sure we can fully fund and talk to as many voters as we can before the dust clears and the votes are tallied.
Absolutely. We'll put the word out. We'll do whatever we can. And anybody that's listening in Mecklenburg, please go out and vote, and then vote for Tim Emery. I will say the DA part, that's in my circle, that means dumbass. So I probably would have changed that one, but there's that.
There's also Debtors Anonymous in the 12-step circles, right?
Fantastic. Tim,
but I appreciate y'all so much for having me, and thanks for accommodating this late hour. Sorry to keep you up late, but I really appreciate your efforts to bring exposure to these really important issues that we don't often talk about.
Absolutely. Tim, thanks again for coming on. We love having you on, and we'll promote you as best we can.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Oh, well, we didn't ask him about Johnny Depp, so there's that regret.
Dang it. I forgot.
We forgot about old Johnny.
I don't know how much you could hear from the green room, because he was in there, but it was in and out. So he may have missed.
Gotcha.
I thought it was going to be a perfect segue. Right?
Right. Yeah. That's what I was doing. I was trying to get him in there when we were talking law. Goodness. Well, next week on the Southern Fried Philosophy podcast, we have another former lawyer. This is our 200th episode, so this one will be labeled 199B. And I am already nervous. Like whenever I close on a house, which has been like twice, or like I've got a job interview or whatever, like you get the bubble gut and you're like, I've got the runs. It's just happening.
Yeah.
I'm so nervous about this next guest. I'm already getting that.
You're going to have to send me all your questions so I can keep the show moving while you geek out over there.
Yeah, I'm going to geek out. So next week we have Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio, one of the #1 talk shows in America, sports talk shows. He's the reason why I started the podcast. Listen to his show every day, and I'm just like admired this guy. He's a former lawyer, started with a blog, and has built this literal empire called Kentucky Sports Radio. Owns a bar, called KS Bar, has a meeting venue, all this stuff, and dude is just awesome, super knowledgeable. Also wrote a book called Mitch Please, because Senator Mitch McConnell, which is a great title, by the way. And he goes through every county of Kentucky and says a little bit of blurb about it, about the people of that county, and then how Mitch has screwed over that county. So it's quite an exhaustive book, but it's funny and fascinating and everything else. So next week on our 200th episode, Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio. We've had Ryan, his cohort, on the show before. We've had Ryan's wife on the show, but now we get the big dog. Right.
And that's not
now we get the big dog, Matt Jones. So I'm nervous. Like I've sent emails and I'm not getting a ton of response. So I'm crossing my fingers. So we'll have
do we
one
have
show.
a calendar confirmation? Because that's all you need, right?
No, we don't have that.
Let me check that real quick.
I've sent the calendar.
Okay. Well, if it makes you feel better, only half the people on this show confirm those anyway. So.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm talking about you two, but you know.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm really excited about it, obviously. So we'll see. We'll have one show where I prepare for Matt, another show where we just talk about socks or seats and see.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's episode 200, so we could reflect a little if we need to.
We'll talk about it.
We can make some content if necessary.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there we go. Well, anyway, thanks again for listening. I really appreciate you guys coming and being part of this virtual understanding. I know it's tough. I know it's a pill to chew on. Listen, I know some of you guys are ditching because I see the numbers. So our numbers have dropped considerably when we do the series, but that's okay. I expected that because this is not for everybody. But next week, next month, next series is going to be on mental health. So all you people who skip this one will probably want to skip that next one either.
Yeah,
so
I'm going to skip that one. I don't even want to know.
But yeah. Well, anyway, it's fine. It's fine. We love you all. Please spread the word. This stuff needs to be talked about, and we're doing it now. So, because it just needs to be. So anyway, thanks again for tuning in to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. And as always, keep looking up.